All right, we're back with more NFL offseason reactions. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they did some solid things. So I'm joined by Steelers fan Alex Osman to discuss it. Alex Osman, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great. So I'm glad to get you as part of my NFL coverage here. So, Alex Osman, the Steelers offseason, what are your thoughts on it? I'd say the biggest move they might have made was replacing Cameron Sutton with Patrick Peterson at corner.
Yes.
They do have that 17th overall pick. We know Joey Porter Jr., son of former Steeler Joey Porter,
Yes.
Penn State's own Joey Porter Jr., could be in the draft. So maybe starting with the cornerback room, that's a position the Steelers need to improve. What's your thoughts on these moves?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I would have liked to have kept Sutton. I liked Sutton. He was one of those players that Steelers fans were very bipolar on for over the past 2 seasons or so. He really did break out over the past couple of seasons. But I think it did get to a point where a lot of Steelers fans were overrating him a tiny bit.
Okay.
I don't think it was do or die to re-sign him. I know there's a lot of Steelers fans who thought it was. Now Patrick Peterson, he's not like completely over the hill. So I mean,
he had a bounce back year last year, 5 interceptions.
I think he'll be solid. No, obviously nowhere near his prime, and he's obviously a stopgap. But I don't hate it. I do think with the moves we've made on the O-line, cornerback is a very realistic possibility now at 17 in the draft. But
is Joey Porter like your number one guy you want, or is there anyone else you'd be looking at?
See, I like a good story. I like the familiar relationship. I'm one of those Steelers fans.
Yeah, well, you could talk about Kenny Pickett as well.
Oh yeah. But I would love to see Joey Porter Jr. in the black and yellow, the black and gold. Sorry, my apologies. The conservative side of me, the conservative football fan of me, wants to go line. Okay. I'm not as familiar with the offensive tackle, offensive whatever class in the draft, but I do really like the moves that they've made. But then again, we said that last year.
Yeah.
Where we had some solid moves on the offensive.
You brought in Isaac Seumalo from the Eagles, who had a good year last year, shaking off some injuries.
And then LaRaven Clark. I think is the other guy's name.
He's a veteran.
Some solid stuff. Again, we don't have like that guy at this point. Yeah. Which is why I could really like the 2 biggest needs, at least in terms of like draft, like where to pick them. I think cornerback or offensive line in the first round, and then I think this is your opportunity since we've made some pretty good moves, and it completely revamped the inside linebacker position. Yeah. I really think like someone, again, maybe a little bias coming in, but someone like Servassier Dennis in like the 6th or 7th round as like a he's a pick guy. He's a pick guy. I like Servassier Dennis. I think he's undervalued right now. Okay. He had a good pro day. But someone like that, or I know my roommate, former collegiate member Caleb Craig, is a really big fan of, I think Drew Sanders is his name, from Arkansas.
Okay, I've heard that name.
And inside linebacker, he's a lot higher rated than Voss.
That's why I know who he is.
Yeah. But I mean, I would like to see best cornerback available. I'd say is probably ideally how I'd go. Obviously, I'm a little bit. Always a little trepidatious about the Steelers drafting cornerbacks. Yeah. But with Omar Khan in now, we'll see. The con artist.
The con artist, okay.
He's made some good moves. But yeah, coming into this free agency, I really was set on we need to get an inside linebacker high, but. And again, I don't love losing Miles Jack, but I think Holcomb and Roberts are pretty solid pickups, and I think that's kind of telegraphed. Having that much dedication given to the inside linebacker position, I don't think they're going that early in the draft. And again, every single mock I've seen has been Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of just manifesting.
It reminds me of the Najee Harris pick a couple years ago, where it was like,
and Kenny Pickett even.
Kenny Pickett, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of debate with Malik Willis, and obviously I was always on Team Kenny, but. It does remind me of that Najee Harris pick, where it was like, okay, it's the worst kept secret that the Steelers are going to take Najee Harris at 22 a couple of years ago.
I guess it just comes down to like, what if Joey Porter just goes like 10th or 11th?
Yeah. I mean, there's still some solid.
You could trade up.
I could see the Steelers trading back.
Okay.
Because there's not that one glaring, like, we need the guy right now at any particular position. I mean, it'd be nice to have the guy somewhere, but I could see trading back because we also have number 32.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
shout out to the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears and the Miami Dolphins for conspiring towards that. I think wide receiver is somewhere in the like second to fourth round is necessary, just because one, the Steelers have a great track record of drafting receivers, and I mean obviously George Pickens, he's going to be great. I'm not all that high on Deontay Johnson generally.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
And I'm glad we got rid of Claypool, but I mean, outside of wide receiver depth is an issue, and I know my best friend goes to Pitt. He really wants us to pick Jordan Addison at 32. I don't think he's fallen to 32.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But there might be someone. What's the Eli Flowers? Is he supposed to fall more? Someone like that. I don't know.
But it's somewhere within those rounds. I'd like to get a receiver.
I got you.
Well, yeah. I'm more optimistic about the Steelers than I think more national bird's eye view looks will be, because I'm a fan. I'm biased. I'm a believer in Kenny Pickett.
Well, one other thing I wanted to ask you about. So I know you're a huge Kenny Pickett defender and fan, but Matt Canada will be returning as the offensive coordinator. Are you a little concerned for him and also Najee's further development with him staying in town another year?
I still think Najee can have that bounce back. I don't think
I hope so.
His vision was an issue at the beginning of the year, but he did kind of come around on that, and it was definitely a tale of two seasons. Again, strength of schedule was wildly different in the two halves of the season for the Steelers, but it also players develop, and I do think Najee did show some flashes. Matt Canada.
Yes.
Obviously, as any Steelers fan will tell you, he's bad.
Yeah. He is.
And I think if this was any other organization, he would be gone by now. But the Steelers never fire coordinators; they let their contracts expire. That's a Steelers tradition, for better or for worse. That being said, we're stuck with Matt Canada for the foreseeable future. I'm not sure what his contract is. I think it's over at the end of this year. Hopefully. Yeah. Obviously, like I was big on the Matt Canada hiring when it happened. I was big on it because he was a creative guy in college. And you see that with what he tries to do. He has a lot of jet sweeps, end arounds, those kinds of things that he does.
He handed Claypool a ton of those.
Yes. And I think I'm trying to be optimistic here, and that maybe he can come around, look back, and keep that creativity, but maybe have some more aggressive play calling, and maybe that has to do with trusting Kenny more as he develops as a passer and as a leader. I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm not loving it. I'm not loving the screen passes on 3rd and 15. I'm tired. I'm tired of it.
I think that's fair to say that the screen pass on 3rd and 15. That's a pretty good way to put it. Yeah. That kind of crystallizes the type of play caller he is. Well, Alex Osman, thank you for joining me today. Just one more thing. Do you think the Steelers team has any chance at the playoffs next year, especially in that competitive AFC?
I want to say yes. I really do. Because again, I'm much higher on Kenny Pickett than most people in the NFL in the world, if you will say. Because I remember there was a whole thing where a fellow collegiate staff member, Joel Haas, tried to tell me that Kenny Pickett would be the 3rd best quarterback on the Commanders, and that's just ridiculous.
That's a little absurd.
But
that man needs to be kept in check. He's a little over the moon about Sam Howell.
I mean, I do like Sam Howell. I liked him in college. I think Sam Howell's a solid quarterback, but at this particular point, Kenny Pickett is better and more proven.
Agreed.
But yeah, I don't think that. I think it will be a winning season.
Okay.
I think it.
Well, that's how it is with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course. Yeah. I think that streak will remain alive.
This is the thing. I'll just weigh in a little bit here. It's like this is going to be like year 3 or year 4 in a row where people are like, Yeah, this is the year the Steelers will be under 500. They're not
and
good
it
enough
doesn't
to
happen.
compete in the AFC, and every
It's like
year they find a way.
it's like I never understand. I get that Tomlin hasn't like done much in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In the past couple of years.
It's not a Super Bowl, though.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
a lot of the Tomlin detractors will be like, "Oh,
Right.
the Super Bowl was in his second year with Cowher's team."
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the numbers, you look at all that stuff, and again, this is a little off topic, but there's a lot of people, some people I know from back home who think that, who have been thinking that Tomlin should have been fired for the longest time because he could never win the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not. You're spoiled, basically. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that the Duck Hodges season is the biggest proof of why I think Mike Tomlin is still one of the best coaches in the league. I don't think there's going to be any noise in the playoffs or anything like that. But I think ceiling's a wild card, floor is a 500.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's fair.
I think you still need a couple of years to develop Kenny to really get your guys in those crucial positions, because like all of our guys in inside linebacker, cornerback, offensive line, which is the second most important position on the offense. Those are all stopgap guys, free agency guys.
Yeah.
And you need at some point to invest. And not just sign guys, because we had such a spectacular offensive line for most of my life.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah. And so I would like to see some long-term investment sooner rather than later on those kinds of things. But right now, I think that, like I said, winning season, not going to make a ton of noise in the AFC, but another solid year, and hopefully be competing in a couple of years.
Just keep building that Mike Tomlin culture, right?
Mike Tomlin culture, yeah.
All right. Well, right. Alex Osman, thank you for sitting down and talking some Steelers with me. We'll have to see how they do this season, but like you said, it will probably be a winning year. Thank you, Alex Osman. Thank you.